Welcome back to Underrated Movies. I'm your guy, I'm your man, Mr. Alton Henry. Today I'm going to talk to you of another underrated film that I just saw on HBO Max called Last Night in SoHo, starring Anya Taylor-Joy, Thomasine Macazine. Is that your name, girl? Thomasine McKenzie. And Matt Smith with Terrence Stamps. It's a psychological horror film, centers on a girl who goes to London to try out at a goddamn chair squeaking. I would say try out, but she's got a job offer as a designer for dresses for like fashion shows, and she bunks in with this elderly lady, and she starts to in this house, and she starts to see visions of of somebody else's life back in the 1950s or 60s or 70s, around there. I think it was the 70s, and she starts to witness what her life is like, which soon ends in a very sinister result, while also being plagued with ghostly visions. And this film was actually on my radar. The trailer did sell me on it, where I like psychological thrillers. If it's done right, there's some movies out there that psychological. It's kind of but I'm gonna just tell you straight out. I thought this movie was good. I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was very visually arresting for a film, and I think the trailer kind of sells it a little bit. It's a ghost film. This is a ghost story. It's a story about really this girl who is experiencing through dreamlike sequences of somebody else's life, and she witnesses the horror she faces and tries to find a way to understand it and would like to try to save her in a way. But as the film goes along, things start to kind of add up a little bit and reveal itself more, while our main protagonist starts to go insane when she endures um this weird phenomenon. And really, I ain't gonna really talk about much of the performances. Everybody does a fine job. It's really the direction, the Edgar Wright's direction with this. I thought was very, very different from his other movies, like from Baby Driver, and then he does this. This film has a good throwback to like those old 1960s, the 70s. I wouldn't necessarily say grindhouse, but psychological exploitation kind of movie. Like, what was that one psychological film I saw? Um, Twisted Nerve. I think I did watch a good chunk of that. It has that. It's more psychological. It's more psychological, than it has a little hint of ghost stories into it, where it kind of just builds and builds and builds and builds and builds, more like a mystery film. It's more ghostly mystery, and there's a core drama that kind of lands in between with our main character, who's very, I would say, kind of closed off and introverted, and really doesn't know what her place is when it comes to her social norms, where she tries to adapt. Where you pretty much get that vibe of her in the first 20 minutes. They set her character up, then she starts to have these weird dreamlike sequences of another woman in another life, where she imagines, things that she had, Anya Taylor Joyce's character, that she had, and she wants that for herself, until the more that these dream sequences and these visions kind of start to escalate more and more and more, she witnesses the horror of what it means to be manipulated into fame and surrounded by a bunch of different bad people. And yeah, those bad people are man. Well, it just happens to me, man. I don't think the film has a target out saying that, but yeah, diving a little bit into the movie, Anya Taylor Joyce's character in the film bunch of guys, men in particular, take advantage of her, manipulate her, and they forced her into a life of false entertainment, if you know what I mean. And there's something kind of happens in the film later in the movie where it's horrific. It's very horrific, and it's one of those movies where you really want to try to, and you do root for the main character to rescue someone in need. And Edgar Wright does a great job, really. And I think visually, because I think the film has like a lot of anime influence visual beats that I believe he uses in this film, and it gets me engaged. This movie is a visual, I think, a visual masterpiece when it comes to that. It feels very old school horror, psychological horror, and that's what I really loved about this film. I mean, I don't like love it, but that's what really drew me into this movie, of how much of a throwback this film is to a genre piece, to anime, to mm, old school psychological ghost horror, and just a love letter, I think, just to movies and cinema and the theatrical experience. But this movie does not shine away on the treatment that it does to its characters. And it's horrific to a core. And I think this is a theme of the film from what I've took, just how scary people can be when you trust somebody, when you choose to trust somebody, and somehow, some way, something dark about them is going to reveal itself, and then you realize the true nature of humans. They effed up, really effed up. That's my roommate about to bust in here like he got damn big pop. What up, man? Don't tell me you be smoking that dope, bro. You know, man, every time you be, I know you having that work, man, I don't even be smoking that dope, man. You be smoking and be cough. That means that's what we doing on that coffee. This movie is currently available on HBO Max. I highly recommend it. You got to check this out. Now, I do have a thing though. Booty man, it does feel like in the second half a cliche kind of route a bit. And I won't go in detail. I'll let you kind of experience that on your own. But the way the film ends feels like it ends in a way like other ghost psychological horror films do. So I kind of wish the ending was a little bit more unique, but visually it was amazing. Last night in SoHo, have you seen it? Comment below, let me know if you have, and let me know what is your favorite underrated movies.